Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Wellness Wednesday. My name is Amy Dunlap from Troy, Missouri, and I am your host on this Wednesday night as we dive in each and every week to interview one of three international healthcare professionals. And this Wednesday night, I will be interviewing Dr. Stevie Hetzel from St. Joe, Missouri. Dr. Stevie is a chiropractor by trade. She is married to her husband, Dave. They are incredible entrepreneurs. Dr. Stevie had the largest chiropractic center in St. Joseph, Missouri. And several years ago, she walked away from her practice in order to travel the world and teach others how nutrients could impact the human body in an incredible way. So please welcome tonight our guest, our healthcare professional, Dr. Stevie Hetzel.
Thank you so much, Amy. I'm so happy to be here and share tonight. It is an honor for sure.
Well, I am so excited to have you on tonight, Dr. Stevie. And, you have an incredible story. What I would say is a very grassroots story that brought you into really the world of natural homeopathic type of healing of the body, that type of thing. So I would love for you to share just a little bit about your history, your story, what brought you to this place in life. I would love to know.
Absolutely. So I grew up right here in the Midwest in Missouri, a little tiny town. And, I had grandparents that lived on farms. I grew up on a horse, and everything we ate from the garden. We gathered eggs. I mean, really grassroots, Amy. And, we took our vitamins and we sought out holistic natural care. It's just kind of all we knew growing up. And then, believe it or not, and I know a lot of people find this really hard to believe, but before I traveled down the path of chiropractic, I actually got my bachelor's degree in accounting, and I did that for 5 years. I was a bean counter for 5 years, and I woke up one day, I'm like, oh my goodness, if I have to stare at this computer one more day and I can't be around people, then something has to change. And so that's when I went to school at Cleveland Chiropractic College and became a chiropractor. I love everything about chiropractic. It's amazing. I always incorporated nutrition naturally in my practice. And I always said, I adjust them on the outside with a manual adjustment with chiropractic and on the inside with nutrition. And it was a beautiful symbiotic relationship. And I built a very, very large practice. I had 2 associate doctors that worked for me, and we helped bless a lot of lives. It was a great run. And then, to be quite honest, the healthcare changes happened, and I found myself charting more than I was helping and healing the world. And that's when I decided to make a shift about 8 years ago and sell my practice. And quite honestly, the nutraceuticals that I was offering my patients positioned me to do that until they didn't. And then I found 3 international, but that's the short summed up version of how I got here.
Mm-hmm. I love that story, and it's so interesting. I know that we've talked about this in the past because you have always been my go-to whenever I'm, wanting to up-level my health in any way. We'll talk about that in a little bit, I'm sure. But growing up, my parents were the same way, particularly my mom. My mom was a registered nurse. And so she spent a lot of time in the hospital and home health. And she began to really understand and research natural medicine and also more of an organic way of life. And so even as a little kid, when other kids would have antibiotics, if they were sick, my mom would make me chew on raw garlic, and she would have these green smoothies. And I was always so embarrassed that, we had a little bit of an alternative life, but it's just really interesting how those deep roots bring us to where we're at, even when sometimes we don't realize that. So my question would be for you right now in 2023, do we really need supplements? Like if we're, eating organic and we're cooking and that type of thing, do you feel that if we're on the straight and narrow with that, do we actually even need supplements?
Well, that's a great question because I actually hear that a lot from, from different healthcare practitioners. A lot of trainers will say, I just eat clean and that's good enough. And I wish that was the case. I really do. In 2023, it is absolutely not the case. And here's why. Back in the 50s, when pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, larvicides, and other ides were introduced, what it did, and they didn't realize it at the time, but it destroyed that first 1.5 feet of soil that turns our inorganic material into organic material, i.e. our minerals. And, we need our minerals to help the vitamins absorb. So we destroyed that. So today we don't have the minerals in our foods that we need to, nor the vitamins. And, UCLA did a study. And this has been a little bit, but if a woman ate one bowl of spinach in 1953, they went back to that same source in '07, which that's been a few years ago that the UCLA study was done. It took 51 bowls of spinach to equal the iron content that one provided in 1953. And of course, our stomachs aren't big enough to hold that much food to get our nutrition. But that's just one example. So imagine where it is today. And, honestly, we're living in a much more toxic world. We're exposed to more impurities, more toxins daily. We have a lot of luxuries, but all of those accumulate in our body. And, the Red Cross did a study, and on average, this is how I want everybody to realize how real it is. On average, there were 300 chemicals showing up in a newborn umbilical cord, which makes me sick, to be quite honest. So we have to find a way to pull those out of our body. The human body is such a miracle. If we give it what it needs on proper nutrients and proper supplementation, and we pull the bad stuff out, then we can help it be that miracle again. But right now we're eating genetically altered, chemically processed, bankrupt foods. We have unhealthy diets. I'm guilty myself because we have, I try to eat clean most of the time, but there's times when we're on the go that I have to eat fast food. And, obviously a lot of things contribute to breaking our bodies down faster than we did in the past. So eating clean is not enough anymore.
Wow. That's so interesting that you said this. I had a conversation just last night with a lady who in 2015 bought a small farm. And she thought, I'm going to buy this farm and she homeschools. I'm going to teach my kids how to garden. I'm going to grow organic properties. And what she didn't realize is when she bought that farm, it was completely stripped of all nutrients. And it took her from 2015 until this year to rebuild the soil with the correct ecosystem to be actually able to grow nutrient-rich foods. Exactly. And so it's just, so it's next to impossible, no matter how hard we try. So when you talk about supplements, I know that over the years, so many people have brought supplements to you, even me. I'll say to you things like, what do you think about me taking this? And I think it looks good. And you're like, nope, not that, not that. So why 3? What do you see in 3? Why does 3 International really fit that bill for you of your high standards?
Well, it fits the bill because so many people today have gaps in their health. And so if I ask you today, Amy, and I know you're going to be, you're proactive with your health now and you're holistic and you've always been that way. But, the patients walking in my practice, most people are reactive. Now, since 2020, the number one Google is how can I be more proactive with my health? How can I take responsibility more myself? Which I love. But, for a lot of people, they don't have energy all day long, throughout the day. They're not sleeping like a rock all night long, uninterrupted. They have some joint inflammation and joint discomfort. They don't have optimal joint health. For a lot of people, they have GI problems, bloating and not a flat stomach like they, quote, used to have. I hear this all the time. For a lot of people, they feel like they're aging, not youthfully, but faster. So if they were to go to their high school reunion and they walked in, they would go, oh my goodness, I don't know what she's doing, but she's turning back the clock and I'm not. And so I get to talk to people every day. They have gaps with their focus and their memory, possibly their immune system. And so I love putting my name, my reputation, my license behind a product that can actually close that gap and help their bodies become the miracles they were designed to be. So I look for primarily three things if I'm going to actually endorse a product, because there's quite a bit of risk there, quite honestly. I worked hard for the credentials. I don't want to let that go by the wayside. So I vet products really, really hard. And so I look for sourcing. Where is an ingredient sourced from? How do we know what's on the label of a bottle is actually in the bottle? Because the FDA does not regulate nutraceuticals. The FDA regulates pharmaceuticals, but not nutraceuticals. So if you go down the street to your local store and you buy one-a-days or you buy whatever product that is, 83% of the time, you guys, what's on the label of the bottle is not even in the bottle. 83% of the time. So I want to know that. So 3 International has DNA footprint testing on every single ingredient that comes into the plant. They also test for contaminants and pollutants, because here's the deal. I think it's really important, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. What's really important is what's in our products, but what's really also important is what's not in our products. And so we don't have any artificial sweeteners. We don't have any artificial preservatives, no artificial colorings, no synthetic isolates. We have whole food vitamins, right? We're non-GMO, no gluten, no soy, no corn, no peanuts, no dairy, no eggs, no nuts, no oats, no lubricants, no fillers. We have clean, whole food ingredients. We have superior sourcing. We test for heavy metals, herbicides, mold, pesticides, and radionucleotides. That is just as important to me as everything that's in our products. So I look for that. We also have third-party testing. I want that third set of eyes to keep everyone honest on every single batch that comes out of our manufacturing plant. So the sourcing box was checked. So the next box I look for was delivery. How are we going to take an ingredient that normally in and of itself doesn't get absorbed? Let's take turmeric, for example. Usually it's about 5% bioavailable. So if you go down the street and you buy turmeric and you take it orally and you spend $1, then 95 cents is getting wasted and you're actually utilizing 5 cents of that turmeric. So I want to know that it's actually getting delivered into the bloodstream. That box was checked. And lastly, I look for absorption. How are we going to take it from the bloodstream down to the cell nucleus where it can do its maximum good for the human body and get fully absorbed and assimilated? And that box was checked tenfold. Right now we're using 11 different cellular absorption technologies, some of them patented, some of them patent pending, because we're constantly on the cutting edge and we stay up to date and we keep inventing and keep discovering new technologies all the time in science. So we stay on that curve. So I love that. I really, honestly, Amy, I always say we're an advanced delivery company instead of a nutraceutical company. And every single box was checked. Some of the delivery technologies we use, nanotechnology, we use microencapsulation, we use smart enzyme technology for our macronutrients, we use liposomal technology, true liposomal technology, not lipid emulsion, which is different. And that's what sets us apart, I feel, and it's easily why I could put my name, my reputation, and my license behind 3 international products, not to mention they're in the PDR. Every single one of our products is listed in the PDR. And, we used to have that big old physician's desk reference book sitting on our desk, every one of us. Now it's the prescriber's digital reference. So if you're under a doctor's care, I love that you can say, hey, go to your doctor and ask them to take a look at all 6 of our products if you're wanting to start these, so they could pull it right up. That's unheard of. Only 22 companies have products listed in the PDR out of all the thousands of nutraceutical companies. And it made it easy as a doctor, to endorse these 18 of those companies have one product, 3 have more than one, and we're the only company out there that have all 6 of our products listed in the PDR. So that's huge. We have a clinical study on our absorptive technologies, so we back it with science. And that's why it's easy. That's why 3. That's why I can say with 100% certainty that, in my opinion, as for me and my house, these are definitely the best products on the market, and they definitely go in our family's bodies daily.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And, I don't have the science background or the science degree that you have, of course. But, for me, even let's just look at the collagen. I had been using collagen for a long time. And when I started using 3 collagen, I put it in my body. And after the first 10 days of being on it, the teacher at the preschool thought that I was my grandson's mom. And and my husband had decided not to take the collagen. And so he does take it now, but initially thought it was kind of girly. And so she thought that he was my dad. And so now he takes the collagen, and so do I. But it made such an impact quickly on my skin, and undeniable. Like it's like a picture is worth 1,000 words, and you see that on the outside, but then you often wonder what's happening on the inside when the outside looks like it's aging backwards. So there's so much.
I love that you say that, Amy, because collagen is kind of like the Wild West out there. It's everywhere. And collagen in and of itself is a very large particle size. It's an amino acid. It doesn't get absorbed easily. So what we've done, we've taken a marine sourced collagen, which is the cleanest, most bioavailable for humans, and we've micronized it and hydrolyzed it. Therefore, it fits into the cell, down to the cell nucleus, and gets fully absorbed. It's incredible. And I always tell people, Dave takes it too now, by the way.
Yes.
Right? So both of our husbands take it. But, I always tell people, do not start that unless you take your before picture on day 1 and your after on day 10, because it's really going to look like you went out and cheated and had a little help at the spa. So I love that. Those before and afters never get old, and they're so demonstrable.
Absolutely. Well, what's your favorite product? We have 6 products. What's your favorite products?
That's like picking a favorite kid. Do I really have to do that?
It's not quite as bad as picking a favorite kid. It's not quite that harsh.
Okay. Well, I take all of the products every day. So I take all 6 products, but most people know I'm a little extra. I'm very proactive with my health. So I would have to say the purple pouch is my favorite, and the Eternel. I think they should rename it. I think they should call it the Fountain of Youth. So I love the liposomal glutathione. I love the collagen, 2 grams in this collagen. I love the polyphenols. I love the CoQ10 and the resveratrol, literally hair, skin, nails, blood sugar. This is like going out every single day and getting a vitamin infusion, which I have been known to do. But, because a lot of times vitamins don't get absorbed unless you do a vitamin infusion. But I haven't had to do that since I started on this little purple pouch. So probably that is my favorite if I had to choose. What about you? What's your favorite?
Oh, gosh.
Throwing it back at you.
It really is. That's such a hard answer because I mean, a hard question because I don't know. I would say probably the vitamin pack. I've struggled with things in my health in the past that have to do with some gut issues that triggered some immuno type of responses. And so the vitamin pack really helps me with that. And another thing that I think in the vitamin pack is the vitamin C that's in there makes my energy really consistent. Like somebody just messaged me today and they said, you are like the Energizer Bunny, but I'm really not like the Energizer Bunny. I'm more just, I get up, go all day long, go to bed, and it's more of a strong energy than it is like, a manic energy. So I would say the vitamin pack. And then of course, I don't know that the immune, and I know that we have a story about that, and I'll leave that to your liberty if you choose to share that. But the immune, definitely, I'm getting ready to go on an airplane to Asia. It's really interesting because you just said that you used to get infusions. I asked an MD that is on our scientific advisory board. I was like, should I get an IV infusion before I go? And he said, absolutely not. There is absolutely no need. If you're doing 4 immune every single day, you're receiving every single thing that you would be receiving from that infusion prior to the trip. So probably those 2 products.
I love that. The vitamins, not all vitamins are created equal. These are definitely best in class vitamins. And you guys, when I first started on it, I was very skeptical because I was taking a morning pack, evening pack, big old horse pills for years before I started on these. 4 days, I experienced a flatter stomach, less bloat, more energy, which I didn't even think was possible, better sleep, and better focus in 4 days. And that's being very proactive. So I definitely think they're foundational and love the testimonials that come out of the vitamin packs alone. And then, on the immune, well, the immune works so well because there's 3 different technologies used in this one product alone. But you guys, I'm really holistic at the house. Like, we don't do any NSAIDs. We don't do any ibuprofen, no Tylenol. We're all natural, all holistic. But Amy's not quite that way. And we were down in Texas together and she was having some allergies. She's like, I have got to go get some allergy meds. I said, no, take 6 immune, right? Do a little bit of therapeutic dose to really knock them out of the park. And she's like, that's not going to work. Like, we almost got into this argument. I said,
I was mad. I felt angry.
She was mad. She doesn't get mad at me very often, but she was mad. I said, okay, here's the deal. I'll make a deal with you. If you take 6 and you still have symptoms in a half an hour, you can go get your meds. And
in 30 minutes, I was completely clear. And my ears were just so full. It was a mold allergy. My head was pounding. And within 30 minutes, I was completely clear. And now I am like the one carrying it around my purse. When somebody says I have allergies, I'm pulling it out like, here, take my brew. It's going to fix you. So yes. Absolutely.
You're a quick learner.
Yes, I am. I'm a tough cookie, but I do have to give it up to that product for sure. Well, I know, Dr. Stevie, we have some testimonies tonight. And first, I want to call up Hal Douglas out of Arkansas. And I don't believe you, Stevie, because earlier you told me how old Hal was. And I think, like, you have to be off by a decade. Like, that's what I think. I'm like, I think she messed up by 1 decade, Hal. But yes, but that's your story to tell. But Hal, welcome to our Wellness Wednesday. And we'd love to know, what have you experienced so far with the 3 international products? What's your story?
Well, the good news is, being in Arkansas, Dr. James Baker is my primary doctor. Of course, he sits on the advisory board for 3. So I'm really blessed to have him connected to me. So my story starts back as I was in my wellness visit with Dr. Baker, and we're looking at all my labs. He started talking to me and asked me about my multivitamins and am I taking any supplements? And I said, no. And he said, are you exercising? I said, no. He said, okay, I want you to start exercising. And let me tell you about some products that I really, really like quite a bit because of their absorption technology. And these things are outstanding as far as nothing else is like it in the market. So I took his advice, started exercising, and started taking the products right away. I joined a boot camp, and it was interesting because it was run by an ex-military guy. So boot camp actually was how he was running it. The average age of this group is really between 19 and 45, which is like 90% of the people. So here I am, and I'm going, okay, I can do this. So I've been on the supplements. So it's pretty intense, workout. But I found that I was starting to perform about the top 40% of this group, just right out of the gate. So I thought, man, this is pretty neat. And now as far as my workout group, now I'm in the top 20%. I've moved up as far as how I'm performing. So the story continues. I'm back in for my reviews with Dr. Baker, and it continued to be outstanding. Well, as a matter of fact, what he told me is my internal organs were 20 years younger than the age on my driver's license. So I'm like, wow, because they can see what he does with our blood work, sends it to the Cleveland Clinic, and they can tell so much about our bodies. So that was pretty cool. And my boot camp leader, he's also a practicing nurse here in Arkansas, and he calls me the freak of nature because due to my age and my health, because now I'm operating at the top 10% of this workout group. So, I feel really good and performing at the highest level. But the most fun about this is what you've already talked about, is that nobody can tell how old I am. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that I'm taking all 6, but the collagen and the eternal are a lot of my favorites. But a lot of the people are missing my age between 10 and 15 years. Because currently I'm 64, and I have been, accused of being 48, which I did not correct them. I probably ought to go back and do that, but I kind of let it go. But seriously, I'm taking all 6 products that we offer today, and I totally believe in them. And I know that I've got friends that I'm running into that I haven't seen in a while, and then my workout group is watching me perform, and then they're looking at the way I look, and they're going, "What are you doing to look and perform the way you're doing this today?" So I couldn't be happier with what's going on with this whole program for my life.
I love that, Hal. I would definitely be asking the same thing. My jaw drops. I mean, you look amazing. And so what a testimony to 3 International. And so Dr. Stevie, how would you speak to that? I mean, you have this background in natural medicine, and you're looking at Hal, you're hearing his age, you're hearing his testimony. What would you say is, if you had to look at, okay, these are the things that I think he's doing, how would you speak to that?
Well, of course, he's in the best of hands with Dr. James Baker. Dr. Baker's always carrying the best products available, as they become available. And so for him to endorse 3 International products is incredible. And it's easy to see why he does. And your results just keep escalating, just keep improving. You keep turning back the clock and outperforming people that are 20 and 30 years younger than you. Yeah. But it's because of the bioavailability of the products, the ingredients, and the synergy between all 6 products. I love that you're taking all 6 products. And it's interesting that you like the collagen. I believe probably you love the collagen, not for the outside appearance, but probably it's the hyaluronic acid that really helps, hydrate and plump up and keep our joints all way younger. They feel way younger than they typically do without that hyaluronic acid. So love that. So I thought you were going to say Revive. Well,
that is my number 2. That is my number 2 favorite. I agree. Yeah, Revive.
That's my number 2 too. So love it. Great job. And I'm not surprised at all with your outcomes. I believe they'll just continue to improve. And obviously the proof's in the pudding. So
yes. Yes. Thank you, Hal. Amazing testimony. Thank you for sharing with us tonight. Thank you so much. Okay, and coming on up from Texas, we have Chrissy Koch. I know she has an amazing wellness coach as well, but Chrissy is out of Texas, and I know that she has quite a story. So please welcome Chrissy Koch.
Hi, I'm Chrissy, and I'm in Lumberton, Texas. I started with 3 when my friend Kim and my daughter actually together, they introduced me to the products, and I wanted to start taking the supplements for myself for energy, to feel better, to get proactive with my health. And I started feeling better, and my energy was up, and my pain was getting better. I had really bad hip pain. I could barely get up my stairs. True story, at 50. And so my mom and my sister and a friend of mine all saw me feeling better and joined in getting some supplements. So just in the last couple of weeks, I really decided to pursue this as a business and get out of my comfort zone and work it. So thank you for asking me to talk on here. But yesterday I was at my mom's helping her with some things, and she said that she used to take naps 3 times a day for 2 to 3 hours each. And now she's doing 1 nap for 30 minutes, and that's it. She's 80. My mom's 80. She broke her ankle in January, and she was living with me because she couldn't put any weight on it. So I had to take care of her. I'm a nurse, and I was taking care of her. And so she got well with the ankle. It healed. They took off her boot, but she still hurt so much she couldn't stand on it. She ached and hurt all night. So I got her on the Revive, and she has no more ankle pain. She's walking. She has no pain at night. It actually ended up helping also her chronic back pain and her breathing. She has a lot of, she was a smoker for years. So she constantly coughs and hacks and has mucus, and always had to use her inhaler. And now she said, I haven't even really had to use my inhaler, and my coughing stopped. Said, oh my God, I was just so excited. So,
yeah, that's incredible, Christy. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm going to ask Dr. Stevie to speak to that, but I know what she's going to say, because we hear these stories all day long, and congratulations on your health and what your mom's seen. And so, Dr. Stevie, what would you say? How would you speak to this? I mean, those are some pretty drastic results. Why do you think her mom and Christy as well, why do you think their bodies are responding the way that they are right now?
Well, first of all, Chrissy, congratulations. There's nothing more fulfilling than helping a family member. And my mom and dad are 81 years young too, and they take these products every single day and are very healthy. I'm so blessed to have them and taking the products. But quite honestly, it's because the human body, again, is such a miracle. And you and your mom are probably experiencing nutrient absorption that you haven't experienced for years. And all of the products working synergistically together. You're pulling the inflammation out, you're helping do that, and just kind of returning the body to balance. And when we do that, when we put really good nutrition in that actually gets absorbed, because at the end of the day, we are what we absorb, not what we eat, but what we absorb. And we pull that bad stuff out, then our bodies can be that miracle that they were designed to be. And obviously, that's what your mom's experiencing. That's what you're experiencing. Yes. And these testimonials never get old. I love them. This is my favorite part every single time. So congratulations. That's amazing.
Yes. And you're beaming, Christy. You can just see that. So how exciting. Thank you for getting on and sharing. I know that's not always comfortable, but it's going to changes, it helps others to see and give them hope. So thank you for sharing. You did a beautiful job.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. So our next testimony we're going to bring up is from Texas, and Mike Martin. So Mike, we're so excited that you're here tonight with us. I've known Mike for a long time. And so Mike, I would love for you to share just what you've experienced so far with 3 International.
Absolutely. Thank you, Amy, for the invite. It's obviously a big privilege of mine to speak to everybody concerning what a great company this is. But Mike Martin, I'm a father of 3 boys. My wife is Darla, and we've been married 28 years. They are my wife. Right now, I'm a tactical athlete. And so I love to lift heavy things and have done that for many, many years. I'm a 2-time national champion in powerlifting. I've won nationals twice, and I'm disciplined about my health. There's a survey out there that showed that 82% of the men, they always talk about wanting to live longer and stay healthier for their family and to be for them. But only 50% engage in proactive preventative care and preventative measures. And so, one of the things that I spent years, Amy, looking for supplements and things that would help my performance in the things that I love to do, and that's strength sports. And, probably spent enough to pay for a college tuition in the past on subpar products that just weren't working for me. But with the 3 products, they're just incredible. Some of the blends that they come in with, the proprietary blends and stuff. But I can tell you, because of the pounding I took on my body, I had surgeries. I had a right shoulder surgery, and I needed to get my rotator cuff fixed. I needed to get my labrum fixed. And I did that. And when they looked at me, they looked at my left shoulder as well. And they said, hey, it's just a matter of time. In a few years, you'll probably have to get that left shoulder done. But I'm one of those guys that likes to log everything down because I'm kind of analytical on what works and what doesn't work. But you know, these surgeries, Amy, are brutal. They're brutal, and the recovery is extensive. So my goal was to get quickly back to within a year of benching 400 pounds. And so what was interesting was that during the first surgery I had, it took me about a year to recover. And then I met my goal. Well, when I had my left surgery done with the labrum and rotator and everything like that, I was able to, in 6 months, recover at a much faster rate. And I was able to bench that 400 pounds. So I was 3 or 4 years older than my first surgery. Plus I had, like I said, I was able to just 6 months off the goal time. So I was, you always got that voice of doubt and voice of defeat and control in your mind, and you've got to work through that. And when you find something that works and it's your passion, you've got to apply yourself, and you've got to, you search for things that are going to work. And so when you find that, it's a no-brainer. 3 products are first in class, and I've found it, I've searched for it, I've looked for it, and now I'm totally in. So that's kind of my testimony about the recovery.
Wow. Mike, I think that's just incredible where your recovery time was in 1/2 of the time using our products versus, what it was 3 years prior not using our products. So I do have to ask you this question. 2-time national champion.
Right.
Let the 3 international world, let them know what were you lifting at that point? Because I think this is just, we want to give you a kudos for that. So,
well, if you wouldn't have asked, I wouldn't have told you. But anyways, I've squatted 900 pounds. I bench pressed 700 pounds, and then I deadlifted 725. And so it's a combination of those lifts.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So Stevie, I know that Mike's story is just amazing. And, he just leads his family and his community in such an awesome way. And so I'm so grateful that the products are working in his body the way that they are. Why would you say, what would you speak? That's a major difference. That's like recovery in half the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's what people don't realize. And Mike, those results are incredible. And those weights, years of lifting those weights, yeah, you've been a little hard on your body, but in a good way. And obviously it's still working for you because he's so humble, you guys. He doesn't go around telling anybody what he can lift, but he can still bench 500 pounds a day. So his body is still just producing he's fueling it with high octane supplements, so it's performing like a Ferrari still. That's what I would say. And most people don't realize that 80% of recovery is actually nutrition. And so by fueling your body with those high octane supplements post this surgery versus the first surgery, obviously that's why it cut your healing time in half and astounded your doctors. So kudos to you. Not all supplements are created equal, and you're a perfect example of that. So thank you so much for hopping on tonight and sharing. And it's amazing. It's always my favorite part to hear everybody's testimonials.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what an amazing night. Such great testimonies. If everyone was just to turn your camera on so that everybody can take a look at you guys one more time. And thank you, Dr. Stevie. Amazing, just education for all of us. Hal, great job. Chrissy, thank you so much for stepping outside of your comfort zone. You're changing lives by doing that. And of course, Mike Martin, thank you for that as well. And everybody have an amazing, amazing rest of your week. And thank you for hanging out with us on this Wednesday night. All right. Bye, you guys. Thank you, guys.